Davy Show.
I have seen the dark shadows moving in the woods, and I have no doubt that whatever I have resurrected through this book is sure to come calling for me.
David, you look absolutely terrific, honestly. You've got like glue on.
This is where the worst begins. This is where we must stop. For beyond is the work of madness. The nightmare of insane murder and lingering death. Get inside and lock your doors. Close your windows.
Someone is watching you. Someone is waiting for you. Someone wants to scare you to death.
This is Albert from the Tuesday Show. You're listening to the goddamn Dave Hill Show, now on a flipping Monday.
No, you're an angel. I said no really loud there. I scared myself. I don't know if that happens to you guys. Anyway, hello and welcome to the Dave Hill Good Time Hour with me, Dave Hill from before. Hello, hi, how are you? Hello, boy criminal. Chris
Hey.
Gersbeck.
Hey, how's it going?
Really great. Do you have background music on?
I do, yeah.
What is that tonight?
It's Isaac Hayes hung up
I
on my
can't really
movie.
hear it. Oh, that's nice.
The usual.
Things are heating up. Wade Snook in the chat says, I just squirted it a little bit. He did not do the super chat. I
Whoa.
just read it. A random not super chat. If you want me to just jump right ahead, we do have the super, not to get, I shouldn't be talking about the super chat, right? I haven't even finished asking New Jersey Chicken Rancher Dez, how you doing?
Doing great, Dave. How are you?
Well, I'm glad you asked. It's been a real roller coaster ride with me
That's what you were saying
today. What's that?
That's what you were saying before.
I've gotten since the last show, unless I talked about this on the last show, but I don't think so. I think it was since the last show. I've gotten into 2 separate run-ins with anti-maskers.
Like in person?
Yes,
What was the location?
the same place both times.
Not
Where?
the dip destination, I hope.
No, I was at the dip destination today. I'm proud to say, at the grocery store, and thank God I was able to. I realize I'm getting a little better at like not getting worked up for extended periods, because I did go to dip destination out here in Ohio. Though I am for real returning to New York soon. I know I keep threatening, and I have returned, and then I came back here, but I am for real coming back. It may have been my last trip to dip destination, where you can get, as hinted in the name, dips. It's the only stand in the store that they went out of their way to make a special sign for, and I applaud it. But what would happen? So last week, I went to the post office to mail a few things, which is, I guess, redundant. I guess you could do other things at the post office, but
Get a money order.
yeah, many things. But so I would go to the post office, and I'm a pretty cautious pandemic guy. And so it's a tiny post office in this tiny little town of 3,000 people. One person working the counter at a time. That's all there is. Sometimes there's a second person in the back, but that's about it. And so this guy walks in, and he's like kind of a big, like bearded, he could be like 55 or 75. He's just a big, hairy blob. And he checks his P.O. box and he says, "Hey, I told you not to put any bills in here." The humorous joke that I'm sure the front desk guy gets 70,000 times a day, right? So the guy at the desk doesn't.
That's pretty good. I might start using that, actually.
It's pretty strong. You got to give it to him. But so the guy at the front, I think, maybe chuckled politely. I even gave it a little something. But it wasn't enough for the guy. So he walks over in between me and the guy in the front, at the register. And he's like, "Hey, I told you not to put any bills in here." At which point I backed away like an additional 3 feet. So I would be 6 feet from him. And he says, "What are you, scared?" Oh, he's not wearing a mask. I should have pointed this out. He's not wearing a mask. He says, "What are you, scared?" And so I found that annoying.
Bit aggressive.
Yeah, so I said, "No, you should have a fucking mask on." I used the F word.
Did you lean into it like you just did?
Yeah, I said it right like that, pretty much.
All right, that's strong.
Not exaggerating.
Okay.
And so he says, "Fuck you." And so I said, and I'm sorry for the language. It basically went full on nasty language back and forth. This is a classy show, so I won't tell you what I said to him. And then it went back and forth, an insult, swear words, insult. And then he left, and he was so mad, he knocked on the glass to give me the finger again after he left. And then I gave him the finger.
Did you have gloves on? Was it like one of those weird, awkward, like...
Yeah, he had gloves on. He did. It's true, he did.
Weak finger.
So he was really pissed. And I was just kind of, I was pissed, but whatever. But then I just quickly went back to just being a mild-mannered guy, which I normally am. when I'm making basic transactions throughout the day. Though I did say to the front desk guy, hey, I did a little bit of that. And then I went back to just being like, okay, thanks. So I go back to the post office today, less than a week later. There's a lot of anti-maskers in New York, sadly, Tracy Dunbar says.
Yeah.
Matt Arnold does a super chat, but he doesn't say anything. That's a power move.
I think the donation amount is the message.
Oh, okay. Normally, I'm trying not to read the donation amounts, but let's be clear. He did do $6.66, which is the exact change of the beast. So I go to the post office today, and to renew my passport and then mail a package. And this was not a time to be getting in a fight, because I realized, like, I don't want anyone screwing up with me sending my passport in. I'm just trying to get a jump on it, because I imagine I'll go back to being an international superstar, soon. And not that I stopped, but you see my point. But my passport's expired. I need to anyway. So I go in there. It's a different guy at the front desk. And before there was a mask mandate, I'm just working this story out for the Moss with it, which is why I'm not sparing any detail. And I'm going to cry at some point. So this guy, before there was a mask mandate, they never wore masks, the employees. And then there was, and then I only saw the other guy, and he always had a mask on. So anyway, I hadn't seen this guy in a long time, and he's behind the counter without a mask. And they do have like a piece of plastic hanging. It's not a wall. It's just like it's like a temporary thing that's just hanging. So, okay, details. He doesn't have the mask. And then I ask for an envelope. He goes in the back. I grab an envelope. I'm filling it out. Figure, he's going to put a mask on when he comes back, right? And then he comes back and he doesn't have the mask on. And I think he's 99.999% doing this on purpose. And that was all it took for me to go, like, fuck this guy. So I was like, hey, can you put your mask on before you wait on me? And he was all like shitty and eating green. He's like, nope, I don't have to do that.
I love the assholes that double down on their behavior when you call them out on it.
Oh yeah, he's like, you can't tell me what to do. I'm like, I'm not telling you. The governor of Ohio mandated it. I'm just fucking telling you what the law is. He's like, nope, I don't have to do it. You can't make me do it. And so he's like, you don't know my HIPAA status. I don't have to tell you. And he's like, so then I'm like, well, give me a fucking form to fill out this thing. And I'm filling out this thing. And he's like, you don't even have to come in here. You could be printing this all out at home. You don't have to come in here. Why are you even coming in here? At which point I raised my voice, and I didn't use swears, because I was like, if I don't use swears, everything's fine.
You could do whatever you want.
So I said, look, you need to shut up, because I didn't ask you anything other than to put a mask on, and you were a dick about it. So shut up.
Nice.
I did say this. This is the kind of, you don't want to cross me in public. And then, so he kind of shut up. And then I went and we finished the transaction with no more. And then he's like, you can, I'm like, what's your name? And he told me his name. And I was like, I'm going to take your picture and report you. And he's like, fine. So I said, fine.
Fucking hated here anyway.
Fine. But so he claims, and he's like, look up hypocapnia. That's what I have, which is bullshit. That's like people claiming that they're getting like too much carbon dioxide by wearing masks, which has been debunked already. Yeah. So anyway, so fuck this guy. And
that's been
that was my day. So I reported him. I was going to post his picture on Instagram, but I was like, what's that going to get me? Nothing other than me deleting it later, feeling stupid. not stupid, but I was just like, you know what? I got outside and I was like, I got to get to the dip destination. I need to shake off all my anger and
You're
focus
like
on
craving, you're like craving a dip destination, like a
I realized
smoker.
I was reading a book. I believe it was The Power of Now. And he talks about, Eckhart Tolle talks about how ducks, they get in fights and they shake it off. Just like Taylor Swift says, they shake it off. And I was like, I need to shake this off because I'm going to be at the dip destination in about 7 minutes.
Mhm.
So I went to the grocery store. I called my sister just to like bounce this story. She didn't think it was ready for the moth. Let me be clear.
I think
But
you made
she was-
progress on it tonight, though.
She was like, it has its, it has its moments.
Mhm.
Oh, anyway, blah blah blah. So there we go. Those are my run-ins. But I'm all by way of saying I'm excited to come back to New York and get into even more run-ins there. I'm sure.
Mhm.
Because there's more people to run into. The number here, we changed the number 201 584 7071. That's 201 584 7071. That's 201 584 7071. I said it enough times. It's getting ridiculous. We have a great guest tonight. My dear friend Jordan Morris, who has a new comic book coming out called Bubble, based on his podcast with the same name. He's also a co-host of Jordan Jesse Go. He's fabulous. He'll be with us in a few minutes, but you can call us in the meantime, and then call the whole time he's on, just relentlessly. 201-584-70. We have a new phone line, by the way. We have a new phone line.
I think we could take multiple calls. We could put
We've
calls
got
on hold.
3 calls on hold right now as we speak.
Are you serious? That's insane.
As your story was unfolding, the calls were
Wait.
backing up.
I really want now. I really want to push. We do have the super chat. If you really want your comment read right away, I'm just gonna pretend Amy Dahl did a super chat. And so, did you buy the dip? Yes, I bought a medium salsa, and I bought a hot salsa. Now, listen, most times I prefer the hot salsa. I go hard, pretty much with all things. And but sometimes the call is for medium, so you
You go with it.
so I did that, and we got out of there, and here I am, better than ever. I showered for the first time in days.
Fancy.
My hair is still damp. Let's take a call.
Sure.
I'm gonna go grab our guest.
Carl, are you there?
I'm there.
Oh, it's Elvira, it sounds like.
Is it Elvira?
No, this is Matt.
Matt, sorry.
It's Matt.
I think-
Matt, where are you calling from?
Iowa City, Iowa, but my old Minneapolis area code maybe was throwing Des off.
Ah, that's what it was.
Oh, so this is Matt Arnold of Iowa City, Iowa.
Right.
Wait,
Congratulations.
what happened? What happened to our
So-
phone number?
Chris took it away.
Why? Now, how will we're getting someone? I'll complain to him momentarily about it.
201-584-7071.
Matt Arnold, what's happening out there in Iowa City? Paint us a picture with words.
Well, on the positive front, I was able to drive out to less liberal parts of Iowa to get my vaccination, where there's a little bit of anti-vax or not believing COVID's real, but was able to just go through a drive-through vaccination.
Oh, nice. Kudos.
Nice.
But I did, and the cop running the traffic, I did appreciate that he didn't have a mask on as he was talking to people and waving people through to the vaccination event where you were encouraged to wear a mask.
That's
But
yeah.
that's not why I called. So this is still, everybody has a chance to back out. This is following up on the medical story that I shared with Chris and Des over the weekend that I almost shared last week, but I don't know if this will derail the show. We can go.
I believe there's a statute of limitations, but go ahead.
All right. In the spirit of this, and also because it just might twist Jimmy a little bit, it does have to do with my balls. But so the story was a few years back, I got a vasectomy, right? Love my kids, but two's plenty.
This is all moving pretty
A
fast.
strange infection. What's that?
This is all moving very fast. Wait, you got a strange infection as a result of having had a vasectomy.
Right. Yeah. So the infection caused parts of my downtown real estate to swell.
Sure.
And
I have that copyrighted, by the way.
Point that
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I interrupted you.
So, yeah, no. So it required a minor medical procedure, and my wife was out of town. Thankfully, my parents were in town so that somebody could look after the kids. Went to the ER and had to go to emergency care where I was brought in. And for context, for folks that don't know, the University of Iowa Hospitals and Clinics is a teaching hospital. So anytime something weird comes in, the doctors love to just gather all the med students around to see what's going on. So what ended up happening was I had to have two doctors and what felt like a dozen medical students watch as they drained an undisclosed amount of pus from my inflamed business district. And when I looked down, there's smoke rising because they had to cauterize the wound and then pack the wound with packing bandages. And I never knew what that was like. So what happened was then they asked me if I was comfortable changing my own bandages. So I said yes. I thought, how hard could it be? Sent home as I'm taking a shower, getting ready to reach.
I'm just listening, by the way. Continue.
So it felt like a magician's handkerchief trick. As I was pulling the packed bandages out, there was about 3 meters, about a meter, about 3 feet of.
Thank you for catering to our international listeners.
That I almost passed out there.
Because now you got to put it back.
Is this working?
Yeah.
Well, then you have to repack the wound.
That's the thing.
So then, and then trying to stuff that back in. And so, again, it was no pink sock, but there is my version of an injury that took a few weeks to recover, and slowly pulling stuff out and stuffing it back in. And I'm sure on the internet I could have had a video channel that made a lot of money, but that story is now just etched in everybody's
It's
memory.
never too late. I have follow-up questions, just out of medical interest. When you had to put the bandages back in or whatever, was it the same ones or fresh ones?
Good question. Yeah.
I thought so.
Wouldn't want folks to mishandle this if ever confronted with this common injury. But yeah, no, it was fresh ones. So I was sent home with lots and lots of bandages to stuff back in. But I thought after I almost passed out in the shower, I thought I was going to cry when I saw just about how much I was going to have to stuff back in. And that amount goes down each time. But
no.
Now when you say stuff in, where were you stuffing it into? The testicles?
Balls.
I'm gonna I don't know, side taint, like right where the scrotum is connecting to the pelvis. It's still right in the no square,
but not the taint. I know a guy who
I think that might have been easier at this point.
I know a guy who, well, I'll just say it was Mike Watt from the Minutemen, because it's not a secret. He's spoken about it very publicly.
Mm.
He got an abscess in his perineum, which is to say a hole in his taint.
Mm.
This was probably 20 years ago. And he told me in great detail about a similar thing where they had to stuff basically what you said into the hole that he had in his taint. I'm not sure what this show's about, honestly, but I feel like we're headed somewhere. What if it's just gross medical procedures we've all had to deal with? I don't know. Well, Matt, how are you now? I don't mean that in the letter anyway. I'm just asking about your
vasectomy free. Is that what you said?
Are you okay?
Yeah, stuffing free.
Stuffing free.
Oh, stuffing
as far
free.
as I know. I mean, physically.
Well, this profile and courage.
Is another question. This is probably about 6 years ago.
Man, that's heavy.
And the context here is this also happened. My wife's a professor, and one of her really big academic conferences is this same time every year, and there are like 3 years in a row where something just screwed up when I'm home with the kids, and this was the biggest one was when she got back that I was able to tell her that I had an emergency room pus drainage bandage stuffing incident.
That's love right there.
Commitment.
Well, thank you for that, Matt.
So I think we're getting this show off to a strong start. So I want to hear if Jordan.
I feel a rating spike.
Bandage stuffing stories.
Well, thank you, Matt. Maybe we'll grab these quick calls and then we'll bring Jordan on, see if he's had any invasive procedures.
All right, gentlemen. Keep it clean downstairs.
Bye, Matt.
Yeah,
there, Matt.
Thank you for your super chat. Why the super chat's been a little quiet tonight?
So far, yeah.
What is it? What was it? Just crazed last week?
People, Matt,
I want that hot super chat action.
It was that new super chat smell. Everyone was really into it.
I know everyone was all about the super chat. Jessica Kybell, speaking of super chat, she super chatted. I love how David's a toastmaster in two ways. Be hard pressed to find another person with his claim to fame, however dubious. Wait, what is the other toast?
I don't know.
I don't understand. Now I'm confused.
I got another call.
Okay, let's do it. Maybe it's hard to clarify.
Call, you there?
Yes, I think so.
Who's that?
Oh my gosh, it's an actual woman. Hello?
Yes.
Hi, who's calling?
Yeah, I don't have a testicle story for you. I'm sorry.
It's more than okay.
Very grateful. Thank you. Who's calling and where are you calling from?
This is Megan in Orlando.
Oh, beautiful this time of year. What's happening, Megan?
Oh, not too much. I've been pretty excited about this Netflix movie that's going to be coming out soon. It's about church camp. I know that Jordan's been to was a part of some sort of cool church in Orange County, and I was wondering if he had any church camp stories. But if any of y'all have done that, I don't know any of y'all's stories.
No,
I went to Jewish sleepaway camp.
You're Jewish, Chris?
I'm not. No, that's the thing. I'm not Jewish.
Oh, I didn't think you were.
But I went to a Jewish sleepaway camp.
That's okay.
I went to a Catholic sleepaway camp when I was 6 years old, which strikes me as really young to send little Dave Hill away to sleepover camp. There used to, maybe there still is, in Ohio, there was a thing called CYO, Catholic Youth Organization, which sounds like some sort of fascist thing.
Didn't hold up.
What's that?
It didn't quite hold up well.
And so I went to overnight camp when I was 6, and I was just terribly homesick the whole time and cried for a week. And then the next summer, my parents were taking all the kids to camp, and then they took little 7-year-old Dave Hill to camp, and they're like, let's just take you to camp and you can play all day with the kids. And at the end, when the parents are supposed to leave, you can decide whether you're going to stay or not. And I knew the whole time, I was like, there's no fucking way I'm staying at this camp again. That was horrible. I'm not doing it. So I played all day, joined in all the games, had tons of fun. And then my parents were like, okay, Dave, it seems like you're having a good time. We're going to leave you at camp. And of course, I'm not realizing, my parents are like, oh my gosh, we're finally going to have a break from these 5 kids for a week. It's going to be amazing. And I was like, no, it's cool. I'll head back with you guys now. And they're like, you motherfucker. So anyway, that's my long answer, Megan. Did you go to a camp?
Yeah, I did like a few retreats and mission trips and whatever. When I was in middle school, like the first time that I was away from home for any amount of time, I went up to West Virginia, and they had us all sleep in a barn. So it was like freezing cold in the early morning because there's no like insulation or anything. It's just a bunch of 2x4s with huge gaps in them. And then I got a horrible cold and everyone was very passive aggressive. But yeah.
And then do you have to like proselytize and stuff? Take it to the streets?
What happened?
Do you have to like on a mission? Like, what are you? You're out there like?
No, we were just we were helping like elderly people like with their houses, like with small things.
Oh,
around,
gross!
Their buildings.
No, just
like,
kidding.
Someone needed a ramp for their wheelchair and stuff.
You were doing nice things.
What was that, like the Antioch trip? Everybody was just always going to Antioch. Yeah.
That sounds like a good thing.
Yeah, that's what I think. Sounds similar. I didn't go myself.
Is that how you say it? Proselytizing, or is it proselytizing?
Proselytize. I think I would go.
Let's get various opinions. Well, ask Jordan. He'll know. He's smart. I learned everything I know on the streets, yelling at people at the post office. We should get Jordan on the program. Let's do it. Thank you, Megan. Please call back with your questions for Jordan as well. Do we have another call on hold?
I mean, it's just that it's not pushing.
We do.
Should we grab it real quick just for closure?
Real quick. Yeah. Before we bring in a guest on. Caller, you there?
Hey, fine folks. How are you holding up today?
Oh my God.
That's Elvira.
Yeah.
Unmistakable. Oh, we could have so close to just grabbing Jordan and not taking this call.
Stuffing has been shaken.
Your what?
My love for stuffing has been shaken.
How so?
Is that you're talking about the food item or
well, just in relation to the earlier call about putting the stuffing back in.
Let me be clear. No one's calling Matt Arnold sicko or anything like that. That's not what's happening. But I will say that he's been waiting to tell that story for roughly a week, and that concerns me for many reasons. But though I'm also at the same time grateful. Well, I'm sorry. I think we'll sort it out. If you have any invasive procedure stories you'd like to call back and tell Jordan in a little bit, that would be great.
Well, I am a cyborg, and I do have to put on new sensors and like inputs. And I had my 6-year-old daughter watch as they kind of go in, and part of it involves like a 5-inch needle.
Okay, I'm uncomfortable now.
That's my daily life. It's easier than pricking my finger 15 times a day. So
no follow-up questions.
What I often call as I have ideas for how we can do things better when we get back to normal, whatever that is. Mm-hmm. I already called about the blockchain ticket seats to get the ticket masters out of the way. But what I want to talk to you, because you're one of the few people that can appreciate this, is sound checks. Because I think we do them backwards. Because you go into do a sound check and they always start with drums. And drums are the loudest thing on stage. They're used to communicate information over vast distances while people are at war. And so we have people with fresh ears coming in and they go, okay, everybody wants a little bit of drums. So you already got loud drums on there. And the last thing that they put on there is vocals. Now, when I go and see a show, if I can't understand the vocals, I get really frustrated. And so what I
okay. In summation, though, what's your point?
Vocals. Start
What's
with the
that?
vocals. Do the other instruments, and then add drums in last, so you have a lower just sound floor on stage, and a better sound for the audience.
Why would you set the floor last?
And the performers.
You just said it yourself. Why would you set the floor? You're not going to build a house and put the floor in last, man.
This is like when people say they don't like pedal talk. Now I get it, because I don't like this sound check talk. I vote no sound checks, line checks only. All right, we got to get Jordan in here, but call back and we'll get into this further.
All right.
And I also have to say, Jessica Kybell says,
later, man.
Thank you, Elvira. Why does Chris think he was getting trolled on social media? Jessica, what does that mean?
Well,
I mean, I know what trolling is, but
do you ever just like search for negative comments about yourself? Like, you ever just like type your name and like
for negative comments about myself?
Just like, you ever just like Google like Dave Hill sucks?
No.
Yeah. Well, every now and then I just Google.
Why would I do that?
Well,
there's a voice in my head that tells me that all day long.
I think it's the voice in my head that tells me to search. Like, someone somewhere has written Chris Gersbeck sucks. I was like, I'll just search for it, periodically, and eventually I will find this comment. Someone wrote anonymously that I sucked. So I searched for Chris Gersbeck sucks on Reddit the other day and saw 0 results. So I posted the screenshot on Twitter, which then led to people actually commenting that I suck.
Yeah,
well, but that's out of love, as you know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I think it ended well, but started off unhealthy. But I'm glad where it landed. Yeah. Let's bring our guest on.
All right, let's do it,
ladies and gentlemen. I've known this man for many years, maybe since the beginning of my time in show business. He is a comedian. He's a writer. He's a podcaster. He's a handsome man. He's the co-host of Jordan Jesse Go, also on the Maximum Fun. This is a major crossover event, by the way. Maximum Fun Network, and creator of Bubble, a narrative podcast, if that's the right word. It's a story. It's you see my point. Serial. I got I'm bad with words. Oh, I hate myself. And he has a new comic book inspired by the podcast Bubble. Is this the best intro I've ever done on the show?
No question.
The longest.
You had to say?
Yeah.
I just, I like him, so I want to just give him a good. Plus, now we're 9 minutes late bringing him on. Oh, I hate myself. Ladies and gentlemen, he's in Los Angeles, California. Please put your hands together for Mr. Jordan Morris. There he is.
Hey, Dave, I'm not quite ready yet. Could you stretch with the intro just a little bit? I just need a couple more minutes, so maybe talk about
some credits. No. Normally there would be like a band going da 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 da, and you would be running out there
from backstage. No, that was really nice. Thank you. It's nice of you to say all those things, and it's nice of you to have me on your great show.
Thank you for coming on the program. It's great to see you.
Yeah, I'm happy to do it.
You this is only because I've seen your looks many over the years. You have a very sunny California hairdo that I have not seen before. Am I wrong about that?
No, you're not. And let me explain it. I am not frosting my tips.
Okay.
People ask me that, and I get insulted. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe it's a little residual, like being self-conscious growing up in Orange County, where people like maybe just assume I'm a Mark McGrath type. Far from it. No, so I typically have a chestnut brown hair.
Yeah, I was gonna say chestnut brown.
Chestnut brown, sure. I think we can all agree it's chestnut brown typically. Yeah. But I've been doing like a swim class, a swim team at an outdoor pool. So the chlorine plus the sunshine is giving me these McGraths all throughout my hair. And yeah, I know this is some people will be listening to this as opposed to watching, and I could probably describe my hair now as like an anime character powering up. Like that's my.
I think that's about right. And I'm glad you explained it because I didn't want to speculate, but I was like, I feel like chlorine might be at play, but you've explained it perfectly, and it's exactly, and it looks great. I love
nice
it.
of you to say. Yeah, I feel a little self-conscious about it. I think it's a little. I look like a little bit like an insano, but
no, it's a man. It looks like a man with a life well lived. That's what I see.
A man who can go into a chlorinated pool from time to time.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you the last time I've been fully submerged in water, even.
Yeah, wow. It's been a while, huh?
It's been some time. Jessica Kybell, I've been trying to keep up with the super chat. We're just she says Dave needs a whip for all the self-flagellation. I could maybe cut it in half, the self-flagellation. We'll see. Keep those super chats coming and I'll do it.
Dave, I don't know what a super chat is. What's the difference between a chat and a super chat?
I just learned about it from Chris, who knows way more about the internet than I do. And we just got it enabled last week because I got 7 subscribers on my channel. Once you pass 6 subscribers, something. Once you get past a certain, basically people can pay some amount of money. I don't know how that works, and then their comment becomes
like highlighted
and fancy, and you can't possibly ignore it.
Again, I don't know a ton about the internet, but I think, Dave, you've started an OnlyFans. I think that's what this is.
I believe
I think you're going to have to start posting some saucy photos in your underwear. I think that's where we're at right now.
If I could thread the needle on it and do it in a way that was like ironic, but deliver on the sexy promise.
Right. Yeah, maybe
but
little.
I don't think I have the skills to do it.
Disagree.
Are guys making a living on OnlyFans too? I mean, like, is that the idea? Like, you post photos of yourself in your underwear and people pay to see them?
I'm gonna let Jordan take that one.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what OnlyFans is. It's a social network type thing, but it allows for adult content or more mature content. So if you're someone who can provide that content, that's where you are, instead of a Twitter or an Instagram, which doesn't like nips, doesn't like dongers, doesn't like taints with holes in them.
Yeah, but do you have to show naughty parts to be on OnlyFans? Like, do the OnlyFans?
Oh, are there nipple requirements? I don't know. Yeah. That's a great question. They're like, put some nipples in this photo or we're taking it down.
That's what I'm wondering. Like, is it? And then this is, don't ask me how I know this, but I heard of a guy who tried to sign up for just to see what it was innocently.
Sure. We all want to try.
I know a guy innocently just trying to say, what is this?
Yeah.
He had to see. And he put it on his card.
I got to see what all my friends are jacking off to.
And the bank flagged it, and he had to call the bank and explain that, and in fact was him.
Right.
So he said, I'm out. I'm not doing this anymore because I was been humiliated.
That's pretty embarrassing.
By a stranger somewhere else. Yeah. So that's a concern. But yeah, I because I if someone wanted to see my doughy goods, not junk. I mean, Just saying, like a little, maybe some pecs.
Yeah,
Tasteful
pecs.
nudes.
Yeah, there's some tasteful. Just
Yeah.
Europe, something very like to show off my French side.
Mm-hmm.
I would do it, but I don't know. But enough about me and my desires to exploit myself however I can. Jordan,
Yes, Dave.
you have a new. Well, you have two. You have two podcasts on the Maximum Fun Network.
I do. Yes. One of them, Jordan Jesse Go, a
legendary, long running.
Absolutely. Very influential.
Yes.
In a Velvet Underground like way, a lot of people say.
A lot of people say it's Velvet Underground podcast.
Yeah. Just all these people say that like all the time. They just keep saying it. It's really weird. So Jordan Jesse Go, and then a couple years ago I did Bubble, which is I think you described it well. It's a serialized, scripted podcast. It's a sci-fi comedy. And then we did that a couple years ago, and now the comic book version of Bubble is coming out in July, and we're flogging people to pre-order it. So yeah, it's coming out soon.
And it's amazing. I because I have connections, and also asked Jordan to send it to me. I've seen some pages digitally.
Yes.
And it's amazing. It looks so great. I know as a huge comic book fan and a fan of illustration in general, I was very excited by it. And I'm excited.
Thanks. We got just a real comics pro did the art, and also I should say helped a lot with the story and the dialogue. The guy's name is Tony Cliff, lovely Canadian gentleman who does the Delilah Dirk series of comics, which are awesome. People should check those out. Appropriate for kids. They're great. I was like a fan of his, and the publisher, when we were talking about who would draw it, I'm like, can we get someone who draws like Tony Cliff? And then she came back a couple days later and she says, Tony Cliff will do it. So it was just a great,
wow.
I just picked him. I just pulled his name out because I'm a fan of him. And he actually said he would do it, which was awesome. And I should say I co-wrote the script with Sarah Morgan, who I think you've met a couple of times.
Yeah.
She's a comedy writer from the UK. So she did a lot of great work on the podcast. So I thought it'd be fun to do the comic book with her. So yeah, that was the team.
That's amazing. And so so people can pre-order it now. I believe there's a link in the chat now.
Bless you, Dave. Bless you, Dave, for putting up the link.
That you can go pre-order it.
Yeah, I'm learning a lot of stuff about publishing that I didn't know, and as a published person, I guess you can back me up in that. I guess pre-orders are like huge for books. Like it really makes a difference if people pre-order it versus just going to the store and buying it.
Because it all hits on the week of release as a sale for that first week. So you can have like you can hit the charts if people would just listen and pre-order it.
If they would just pre-order it.
Don't. I want to wait. I'm going to wait and buy it in store several months after it's out. I feel like that's the best way to support you.
That's your choice.
No, that is a nightmare for the author. So everyone pre-order it. Yeah, because then it's like blammo. It comes out and then you've got a bestseller on your hands, and which will propel it even further.
Sure. Yeah. No, we're looking for a blammo, definitely. Dave, I guess I didn't know you were a comic book fan until you mentioned it just now.
I am. I mean, I'm really setting myself up to be exposed as not a comic book fan, because if you be like, what are your favorite comics? I'm more comics in the broad sense. Like, there's artists I like, Peter Bagg.
Oh yeah.
Daniel Klaus,
Sure.
Los Hernandez brothers, a lot of like the Fantagraphic stuff.
Yeah, that's great
and
stuff.
what have I seen lately? But anyway, all by way of saying, I've named 3 names. I sound credible.
Those are 3 very credible names.
Completely believable.
But no, actually, I'm this feeling that you're feeling right now is something that I am dealing with. Anticipating kind of going out and doing stuff for the comic book, because like part of it will be people asking me, "Oh, what comics do you like?" And I am I am terrified of deep cut comics people tearing me a new one because I don't say the right things.
Yeah, and it's just it can be, but I'm actually not, I know but those guys I mentioned, and then like R. Crumb and S. Clay Wilson and all these people, I actually, in another time, like right when I was out of school, I was like, I want to do graphic novels. That was my game plan, to get super rich.
Okay.
Yeah. And I went to Fordham University in the Bronx I didn't study art there. And then afterwards I started studying art, like just taking classes and like learning the panels and all that. But I was a rocker, as everyone knows. And then the rock just came and just steamrolled it. And then I just started rocking, and I got way off course. But all by way of saying,
you can't hold a pencil with the same fingers you're using to shred.
Exactly. So I kind of got away from it. But all by way of saying, I still I get very excited by it, and so when you sent it to me today, I'm really looking forward to seeing the physical copy, which everyone should. Why don't we? Someone's mentioned the Dave Hill effect. Let's prove. Wade Snook says, and he has not super chatted this, so I feel no obligation to read it out loud, but I will. Get ready to feel the Dave Hill effect, trademark, Jordan, ! Everyone go do it. It's super cool. The thing also, if I may,
you may.
The cool thing about this book, even though I have only seen it in digital form, but I have no reason to believe, unless you're going to change all the illustrations on me before publication, which be a weird 11th hour move.
Yeah, and we're just like pranked to play on you. Do a whole fake comic book just to send to you, so you don't seem like you don't know what you're talking about.
It would be so strange, but it's beautiful, and you can, unlike books, non-comic books, non-graphic novels. I guess I'm just describing books with just words.
Right.
You can put this on your coffee table when you're not reading and just marvel at the illustrations. But I'm just telling you, that's bonus content, because the writing is great, and that's, come for the writing, stay for the illustrations is my point.
Yeah.
I don't know if I might be hurting you by now with this.
No, this is great. The hill bump's coming. I can feel it. Yeah, no, actually that's kind of something I like about comics too, is that something I kind of
Wait, did you guys get stuck in that loop for a second?
Yeah. I muted him because it.
Oh, is he back?
I think so. Jordan, can you talk now?
Talking. I think I need.
Oh, something happened.
Technical situation. Need the please standing by cord.
I think it's working now. Jessica Kybell says, and I don't know if Jordan can hear this.
He can hear.
Jordan, can you hear us? Oh.
He's booting a situation.
Oh, I see.
Oh, okay. He needs to connect. We'll get this sorted, and Chris will just put in some action music into the podcast version.
Rebooting the one
which comes out on Friday. Oh yeah.
There we go.
Oh yeah.
Are there any calls on hold?
No, not at the moment.
The number is 201-584-7071 while we wait to sort out These technical. Oh, I think he's back. Jordan, you back?
I'm back. Yes, I think I'm back.
Oh,
Sorry
he's
about
back.
that. Gosh,
There it
amateur
is.
hour over here.
No problem. It just went into this loop. I'm sorry. You were saying.
Oh yeah,
If you recall.
I was saying something that I enjoy about comics/graphic novels is that it has the same effect of like, you know, when you like turn on the TV on Sunday afternoon and you just like watch the middle 20 minutes of Taken on FX.
Yeah.
You know, you can I don't know, I love that. And I think that's something I kind of like about comics is I can just kind of like pick up my favorite comic and flip to a page and kind of remember like how I felt when I read it, and you can kind of experience that little moment in a way that I don't think I can do with other kinds of writing. So yeah, I don't know. It has a real like comics have a real like I don't know. I think they capture a feeling really well, and I think you can kind of just like flip through them and kind of go on a little like journey with where you were when you were reading it. So
Yeah, absolutely. And and maybe this is breaking. I don't know. A lot of I'm sure a lot of people know this, but a lot of well, obviously huge movies have been comic books, but then like Ghost World was an amazing comic first.
Yeah, absolutely.
That
great
movie
adaptation too. I think that movie like is a great version.
Oh, it's
of
like
comic.
Yeah, one of my favorite movies.
But then
it's
they
very different
changed-
from the comic, but
they changed the ending, which enraged me. But and then what's it called? Wilson, is it the one that then was a Woody Harrelson movie that was pretty good?
Oh yeah, I didn't see it, but I heard it was good.
American Splendor was a great movie
American
too.
Splendor's great.
Oh yeah, Harvey P. Carr. Being a Clevelander, I used to see Harvey P. Carr, you know, just running errands around where he lived in the next town over from me growing up.
Toby Radloff.
Maybe this is ground you've covered on the show before, but who are the? Because I do know Harvey P. Carr is like one of the most famous Clevelanders. You of course. Who are the most famous like non-sports Clevelanders?
Well, you know, it's a tricky thing because a lot of times people are given credit as being Clevelanders when it's a little like people are always like now with Coming to America out. Chris, was that you?
Yeah, sorry,
you're fined. People are like Arsenio Hall's from Cleveland, and I think he maybe was brief, like lived for a couple of weeks in Cleveland. But Drew Carey, of course.
Okay.
Fred Willard is from Shaker Heights, was from Shaker Heights, I believe. Martin Mull.
This is like a murderer's row. This is like great.
Yeah, like, and all from like, you know, to lump myself in with everyone.
Lump away.
They're from the next town over, and then I'm from and Harvey P. Carr's the next town over from that. Who else? Congressman Ted Lieu, or Ted Lieu, as most people call him, but I went to high school with him. And I swear it's pronounced Liu, but I have not talked to him in some time, but I need to confirm with him. And who else?
People are saying Paul Newman on the chat.
Oh, from Cleveland. Yeah, my mom went on a date with Paul Newman.
Nice.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I mean, there.
I'm really it's one of those things where they may have just all been together in a group setting at a table,
the same
and I've
just over the years
in my
into,
mind it's turned into a date.
Paul Newman fingered me behind a malt shop.
Basically, it was a story she told every Christmas.
Gather around. The whole family would gather around. You'd hold your mugs of cocoa with two hands and
yep.
Hear the Paul Newman story.
All sorts of people there. Before we forget, I need to honor the super chat because it's super. It's right there in the name. Jessica Kybell says, Jordan, who is publishing for you? Do you collaborate on anything? I don't mean she's asking, do you collaborate on anything? Meaning, which aspect of Bubble are you collaborating on? Or is she saying it like, do you collaborate on anything? As if, can you be just
Right.
talked into anything? I don't know what the tone is on that question.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'll just try and answer both questions. It's like, yeah, I will collaborate on anything. If you're down for anything, my DMs are open. So just let me know what you have going on, and I'll collaborate with you. Recipes, quilts, yeah, just anything. So I'm down. DMs are open. Yeah. So the publisher of Bubble is called First Second. They do a lot of great books. Maybe another Max Fun related book. They do the Adventure Zone graphic novels, which is the D&D podcast on Maximum Fun, and yeah, a lot of great stuff. They do. What are some? Oh, the Delilah Dirk series, which I mentioned, and Laura Dean Keeps Breaking Up with Me, which is a great comic, Dave, that I think you would like. I think it's very much in the vein of the like Ghost World, Dan Clowes. Won a bunch of awards last year. Great comic. Anyway, so yeah, they do really like beautiful, fun to look at books that I think would look nice on a coffee table. And yeah, so I definitely like, they were very helpful because I'm like I was very new to this. So like, not only did they like get me a great artist, but I had a great editor named Allison Wilgus, who is a comics writer herself. She does the Cronin series, if anybody reads those. But she was really helpful in like understanding of me being like a total noob, and like just explained terminology to me and was like a big help with story and stuff like that. So yeah, it was a real group effort. Yeah, I think it does say created by Jordan Morris, but it was a very like collaborative thing between Sarah and Tony and Allison and kind of everybody who worked for the publisher. It was a real group effort. So yeah, I had a lot of awesome help.
And when will it be officially out? Even though we want everyone to pre-order it now.
I almost don't want to say the official date just because people will know. Yeah, July 13th. So July 13th, you can walk into a store and get it, or you can go pick up your pre-order on July 13th. So
yes, everyone pre-order it.
You gotta
pre-order it. It really makes a difference if you want. I know we just said this, but if you really want to support an author, pre-order it. Don't try to think about it like this is, as a fellow author.
Sure. Yes. Thank you.
And I'm grateful for any support. But people are always like, hey, where should I get it? So the money goes right in your pocket, Dave. Like, as if like there's ever a chance I'm ever going to recoup any of my book advances ever. Never. Yeah. I'm never going to. No, but like it doesn't matter is my point. My answer is always, it does not matter. Just go buy it, pre-order it.
Yeah.
Don't think about it. When you see it's available, get it. And that will really help the author. Don't try to meet me behind a dumpster to sell you a copy personally.
Right. Yeah. It's not a CDR of your band.
Yeah. But yeah, so everyone pre-order it now. Yeah. I really want the Dave Hill effect to happen. I want your publisher to call you. There it is.
Hey, oh cool. That's awesome.
Based on the Smash Hit podcast. I mean, look at that. The cover alone is awesome.
Yeah, beautiful cover. Yeah, I mean, obviously Tony and Natalie are great. Are pretty killer at what they do. Yeah, I'll say a little bit about it. It's a sci-fi comedy. I think.
Oh yeah, we got to get into them.
It's maybe Search Party meets Guardians of the Galaxy, if you can imagine such a thing. It's these kind of goofy hipsters who have to fight monsters with a monster fighting app. It's kind of a satire of the gig economy and how it's slowly killing us all. So yeah.
Yeah. There we go.
That was the cover.
It's amazing. The art is amazing. The writing is amazing. I'm if everyone doesn't go pre-order this right now, I'm gonna stab. I'm just picking a random person out of the chat.
Who's got the most stabbable username?
Stabbable. And how was it? Was it hard to take the podcast and then to transition into a comic book form? Like, because even like from what little experience I have, just to go to thinking in terms of panels, totally, it turns your brain sideways.
Yeah, no, yeah, my brain was definitely sideways for a little while. It was a challenge for sure because the podcast, there's about 4.5 hours of podcast there, and if we just cut and pasted it into the comic book script, it would be a 900-page book. So it was tonnage was just an issue. So we wanted to have some of the stuff that people liked from the podcast and some new stuff. So we just kind of worked a lot on streamlining the story and kind of made it a little bit more about the characters, and kind of their little journeys that they're on, as opposed to bigger plot stuff. And yeah, and because an interesting thing, so Sarah, who co-wrote it with me, we both have a lot of experience writing late night TV. She's a variety sketch writer in the UK, and I've done a lot of late night over here. And in that job, you are you're rewarded for pure pages you turn in. It's almost like not the quality of the jokes, but can you turn in 5 pages of jokes by noon? So we kind of think like that of how many jokes can we fit on this page? And then it's an issue of hey, if you assholes fill this page up with 9 different jokes about how someone is boring, they can't see the art. So there was a little bit of a process of okay, how can we shorten this line? How can we get the essence of the line in there, make it funny, but also make it short enough so it doesn't fill the entire page and it's no longer a comic book, So we definitely did a little process of once we got the very rough draft back of just cutting lines we didn't need because we liked the art, of oh, if we cut this line, we get to see more of this building or more of this person's face. So there was kind of an element of there was a lot of slashing and burning. But I think it was all for the best. I think it it's weird. I think, writers typically don't like being edited, they don't like saying make this shorter, but I think in this case the shortening really helped it. It really I think started to sing in a way that it didn't before, once we started kind of just deciding what was really important and making what was the difference between something that's really important and something that is just here because it's the third dumb joke that made us laugh, So anyway.
I think Des, are there some calls on hold, you said?
Yeah.
Are you happy to take some calls, Jordan?
I would love to take some calls.
Now, I with the caveat that they very well could be people randomly talking about surgical procedures. We don't know.
Yeah, so what have we heard so far? Surgical procedure. I have a hole in my taint. Someone who has opinions on the order that bands should sound check their gear in.
Yeah, could have absolutely nothing to do with anything we've been discussing.
I would prefer it, actually. If these could be as random as possible, I would prefer that they be totally random.
Carl, you there?
I think so. Can you hear me?
Yep. Who's this?
Oh, it's Megan from Orlando again.
Oh, it's Megan. Oh, Megan's there.
Beautiful this time of year.
Yes. Go ahead, Megan.
Megan,
it's beautiful most times of year, I'll be honest.
Megan, you can turn your computer down or whatever you're listening. If you can turn that down, you won't have any delay.
Oh, okay. Let me take you off speaker.
Cool.
Is this better?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Cool.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so I don't know, Jordan, did you hear earlier about church camp? Did you ever do that?
Yeah, so you were the one who was excited about the Netflix church camp movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I as I mentioned, grew up in Orange County. At one point known for its beautiful beaches and chill vibes. Now it's known for the worst anti-maskers in the world, who don't want their personal freedoms infringed upon. So yeah, but so a big thing in Orange County when I grew up was the hip youth group. So it was like a cool kid at your school would say like, hey, me and some other teens, like, we just get together in this building on Sundays and we just talk about what it's like to be a teen. And it's really fun. And sometimes we watch movies and they make it sound like not church, you know? And it's always like a super cool, like water polo guy doing this, you know, a guy who has intentionally frosted his hair to make it look like mine.
And he's got the shell necklace.
Yep. You're absolutely, yes. He has a puka shell, or what's the other one where they're like the littler fragments? Yeah. He has a puka shell necklace. Yes, you're absolutely right. And and then you're kind of like tricked into going to church, and, you know, a 22-year-old youth pastor with tattoo sleeves like plays a U2 song on his guitar. So that's like,
I always felt like youth pastors were so much older and so much wiser. And then it's like, oh, you were like 5 years older than me in some cases.
Yeah, and they all still lived with their parents. These are youth pastors did seem like very, very cool when you were 13, but probably looking back, they were probably dorks and losers. Anyway.
So you did this when you were
a
little kid?
I was, you know, like, and a big part of it for me was like, they did in the like youth group room, like on weekends, they did punk shows. So you could like, you know, go to like the basement of the church on like a Friday night and see like the Christian version of NoFX, you know, like, or like the Christian version of the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, like a band who kind of sounded like something you were into, but just like we're singing about Jesus.
Like the chorus comes and they're talking about doing something for him. They're always talking about him.
Yes, him,
and
capital H,
And you're like, wait a minute.
But they did a good job, you know, making the flyers kind of look like punk flyers and stuff like that. So you could kind of like, so that was the vibe. I never went to like a sleepaway camp, which I know was like huge and a place where a lot of like early fingering happened for people. But like,
sure.
I never did the overnight camp.
I don't think that ever happened at my church. But I mean, no one would have told me. I was kind of, you know, the good girl.
Sure. So I didn't do any of that, but I definitely like was in that world for a while, and I definitely like to look back on it and think, what was that? What was happening? So where did you caller? I'm sorry, I forgot your name, but I wanted to ask
Megan.
What region did you do this in? Where did you grow up?
Oh, West Palm.
Oh, okay.
So, sorry?
I was just going to ask what it was like. Was it like, how like my experience was it? Or were there different like archetypes and stuff?
I mean, I don't know like what kind of church you were at. I was at a United Methodist, and it was not, I mean, it was like kind of cool, quote unquote, insofar as like we had like a band that would play, and it was kids from the church who all got to play, and then, you know, I'd have a crush on whoever was playing bass at the time. But like we didn't have any like actual touring bands that would show up and perform concerts or anything like that.
So you never got to see like MXPX.
Were they're Christian?
They are. I think MXPX went secular. I think they changed the Jesuses to you know, a girl's name, and then so they were a very like Blink 182 sounding type band, and they I think had some secular success, but I think Christians would like to tell you that like, oh yeah, those dudes are totally Christian, and like be a little smug about it.
They're ours.
Yeah. I would do that about like Switchfoot, but that'd be about it.
Oh
Switchfoot,
sure.
I was gonna say, isn't it there? I remember there being like a new metal band that was
POD. POD, Payable on Death.
Yeah.
Payable on Death.
Oh yeah, I had that album.
Are they still Christian? Is it who's keeping up with POD's career? I believe they are, because I think they are, because I've just somewhere over the years my daily news sources are credible news sources, and then like a quick lap around the metal websites and see what's just for just to keep. I would like to keep abreast of what's happening in the metal world. I feel like I should know, just so if anyone asks, I can talk about it. I can be like, oh yeah, PODs, they're actually working
Christian.
on it. They're still
Dave.
working on it.
Hey Dave, you like metal? Are POD still Christian?
I believe so.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. I only ever had their first album with the Nation song on it.
That's before they sold out. No, I don't know. I wouldn't know their music if it slapped me around.
Yeah, they actually sold. They did. They actually did drop the Christianity in their second album, just full of fuck jams, just all fuck jams.
You got to. You know, and if it doesn't work.
Yeah, they're still around. They're still working.
Okay, we ran a check on it.
In 2016, they did a 42 city tour under the banner of Make America Rock Again.
There you
go. Oh, okay.
No.
Yeah, that's always the fun part about checking in back with like Christian artists. It's like, oh, they're MAGA now. That's fun.
Right.
Wow. You want to hear who else was on that tour?
Kinda, yeah.
I could guess, probably.
Kirk Cameron's metal band.
Puddle of Mud.
Puddle of Mud, of
Puddle
course.
of Mud, it says select dates only. Trapped.
I was gonna guess Trapped. I'm kicking myself.
They got kind of MAGA-y.
Alien Ant Farm.
Trapped went fully MAGA-y. Like I think that they're banned from like every social media for just being horrible.
Huge on Parlor though. Trapped.
They probably are. Fuel. I weirdly found myself at a Fuel concert in the last several years. I went to see Monster Magnet.
Were you abducted?
No, I went to see Monster Magnet in New Jersey at some festival. I went with friend and favorite caller, Bill Dolan, and we went out to New Jersey, and I saw Jackal, which I wasn't anticipating. I saw Fuel. Jackal with a Y. Okay. Yeah, no, all these bands were playing where you're just like, what's happening? Anyway, all by way of saying, I've seen Fuel. I know what they're up to. They're still at it. All right. Well, thank you so much, Megan. Was there anything else you wanted to get to ask Jordan?
I've been watching HGTV, and I was wondering if you got approached to like do a on the couch thing on an HGTV property, what HGTV property would you choose?
It's a good question.
I don't know that I understand any of that. I don't watch a lot of HGTV. What is an on the couch property?
So like some reality TV shows, they'll just like have a comedian sit on a couch in front of a camera, and then they'll like be like, "Hey, look at these assholes" the entire time.
Oh, I've done one of those. I've done one of those for the doctors.
What is that? Is that like a talking head type thing?
It's weird. It's a weird little format that I think is become more popular. So there's that daytime TV show. I don't know if it's on anymore. Called The Doctors. I think it is. I think it was at one point like a Dr. Phil spinoff, where it is these medical experts. Some of them are hunky, and it is on a very daytime TV talk show set, and and then people ask them medical questions and blah 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 blah. It would be on like After Ellen, if that gives you any context. So yeah, they did a thing where they called in comedians, where we just watched clips of them, and then we're supposed to like quip. So it was like if Best Week Ever, if you remember that show.
Mm-hmm.
Dave, you have to have done a Best Week Ever.
I played Satan on one episode of Best Week Ever, but I was never I later did more of those shows. It took me a while to sort of get the feel for how to do that. Because you have to talk about stuff. It's a skill.
Yeah, totally.
Because you have to talk about things you don't care about.
Yeah.
and it took me in my early days of show business, I didn't know how to do it. And then you get better at it.
Yeah.
But now they stopped doing it. They don't really do it as much.
But
Or
yeah,
maybe
it was an interesting experience because you know, it's daytime, so everything was like had to be, you know, cleaner than PG. So like I remember doing a couple of jokes where I'm like, that looks like a certain part of a man's body. She looks like she's ready for marital relations, and just like delivering the lines like that. It was which I think maybe I should make it my humor style. Maybe I should.
It's weird. That's basically the verbal equivalent of the OnlyFans page I'm planning.
You want to see a certain part of Dave's body, and then it's just your calves or something.
Yeah, maybe I'll go. Yeah, hard fetish.
Yeah,
OnlyFans. I think we have another call on hold? Do we?
No.
Oh, that wasn't me. I didn't handle that well. I wasn't trying to just cast away Megan. But thank you.
Caller.
Thank you, Megan.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Thanks. Have a good night.
You too.
Is there a delay on the phone? We can cut out this part later where I say, is there a delay on the phones?
There might have been on her. We got one more call. You want to try that?
Oh my gosh, look at that. One more.
Love a call.
Caller, you there? Oh, turn your radio down.
Yeah, I'm here, man.
Oh, there he is.
Oh.
Yeah, I got it down.
Oh, this is perfect. Jordan, MVP caller, the pride of Merrickville, Ontario, Niels.
Hello.
What's going on?
Hello.
Yeah, it's us.
Yeah, not too much. Yeah, I'm just I'm interested in Jordan's origins. Like, how does one get involved in comic books? Like, were you like enthralled as a child, or is this just something you fell into later in life? Like, come on, baby! Like, you've obviously got the spirit.
Yeah, I do.
Where do you put it?
First of all, just want to start off, Neil. Great energy, bringing just some stellar energy. And I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I was a kid who was into nerd stuff, and when I went to the supermarket with my mom and was being a brat, she would buy me a comic book to make me shut up, and that kind of like started. So just like seeing Spider-Man and Superman comics in the supermarket checkout, which I don't think you can get them there anymore, but in my youth, there was just a rack of comic books that you could kind of beg for as a kid. So yeah,
pharmacies too. Pharmacies were a big comic book.
Yeah,
when
absolutely.
Yeah.
Therein I begin because you're right. It was like a smorgasbord of imagination, like personified. Like it's there. Like you said, Spider-Man's on the rack.
Yeah.
X-Men. What have you, and you've maintained this, and now I don't know what your latest comic book's about. Maybe you guys could illustrate that some, but you've held on to this the whole time. Like, was this always what you wanted to do, or is this an offshoot now?
Yeah, no, it is something I've always wanted to do, and I've never been. It's a tough thing to get into if you can't draw, because you're basically saying I am good enough at this to where you should find someone else to draw my thing, which is it makes you a tough sell. I think a lot of people get into it drawing their own comics, like they write the story and draw. So someone saying like, I can't draw, but this is good enough that you should hire someone to do it. It's a tough sell. So yeah, I definitely took took a run at pitching comics maybe 10 years ago to crickets, just to not even a form letter. Thank you for your submission. Just sending off comic ideas to contacts I got who couldn't have cared less. So yeah, it was definitely something I kind of tried at and then got a little bit discouraged. And then once we started releasing the Bubble podcast, then First Second got in touch and said, we think this would be a good story for comics. Are you interested? And I could not have said yes fast enough. So yeah, it was one of those things where I kind of like thought it was a dream that would never come true, but then it did. So yeah, it was really cool.
And it happened very nicely and organically.
Yeah.
If a nice lesson people can learn. Sometimes things just happen.
Like if you have like some sort of memory of like your first superhero or maybe supervillain, but like what is the original character that you ever drew?
So I'm not a drawer, but as far as like characters I loved as a kid,
wrote or conceived. Sorry,
it's okay.
But as far as ones I loved as a kid, I was a Spider-Man kid, and maybe X-Men a little bit too. Once I started to have like teen feelings, X-Men has a lot of teen feelings associated with it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, those were my faves. I got into I started reading DC a little bit later, but I was always kind of a Marvel kid. So yeah, I definitely am the target late 30s dork for all these movies and TV shows that are coming out, because I like remember all these characters from when I was a kid.
Oh, that must be helpful, because I get lost.
Yeah, I can see how you would. I can totally understand.
When I saw Guardians, I've not seen. I'm remiss in that I have not seen Guardians of the Galaxy 2, even though my dear friend Steve Agee is in it.
Oh yeah, Agee's great in those.
So I'm due to see it. But the first one, I was like, wait, who's this guy? Where's he coming from? I thought he was the bad guy. And then this other guy came from over here.
Remember, I never like followed the Harry Potter books. And somehow, I forget how, found myself watching the last Harry Potter movie without knowing anything about the world really. And I was just like, this is an art film to me. Like, I don't understand any of this. Like, this is like Tetsuho the Iron Man. Like, this is so like obtuse, and I don't understand any of the rules. So yeah, I can see how if you're like not super into the lore going into those movies, they like don't give a fuck. They're just like, all right, sorry. Oh, you haven't been reading these for 40 years? Well, I don't know. It's not our fault.
You're on your own.
Yeah.
I feel better having it explained to me that way.
Yeah, you're fine.
I always just think I'm dumb.
No.
When I see movies, I think everyone knows what's happening. I don't know it.
Everyone knows who Groot is.
Yeah. No, I thought Groot, I was just like, oh, they just decided to have this guy.
Yeah.
Little tree guy. Why not? We just have a couple minutes.
Jordan, sorry, Dave, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go for it.
For you, but Jordan, can you yell in a booming Zeus voice your latest creation and why? Not why, but just what it is. Like, what's it called again? Like,
sure,
there's
yeah.
like distracted people like me. Yeah, okay. Booming Zeus voice. Booming Zeus voice.
This is the perfect time for it.
Booming Zeus. Yeah, no, I love it. I love this direction. This is really good. Okay. Oh, foolish mortals, pre-order the Bubble comic book. It's a sci-fi comedy that will have you laughing and thrilling. Pre-order now, wherever you get your books, foolish mortals.
Perfect.
How was that?
That's perfect.
Thou shall be mated with a ram. Yeah, I love it. So it's Bubble? That's what it's called, Bubble?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's called.
How in the world did you call with all these like in-depth questions and then the most basic bit of information you somehow didn't have in your head?
It's like watching a Marvel movie. Some of it you catch, some of it you don't. Some of it goes
going on here. I got so much going on. Now I have 2 more questions. I hope you guys don't mind. 2 more questions.
Make it quick though, because we're out of time.
Oh yeah, the time, eh? Oh yeah, the special time. Okay, Gersbeck, Chris, what's the T-shirt say?
Which taint?
Which taint classic shirt?
Oh, nice. I've decided to cut all the sleeves off all of my shirts from that source. Gone higher. And,
from that source.
Dave, I'm just wondering, Chris, I do have chicken questions, but I can email you maybe if I ever get your email. Sure. But Dave, what do you think about when you see people driving all alone with a mask on their face?
Oh, I just think that. What do I think? I think that they're probably just like, I'm going to be jumping out of the car in a second anyway. And so they don't bother to take it off. That's my thinking. I don't think they're insane. I don't think.
Yeah, no, that's exactly like. Oh, sorry, dude. What was going on?
Oh no, that's all I had for that one. I think they're basically illustrating the fact that it's not really that hard to wear a mask, and you forget that you're even wearing it. So they're just going about their lives and being like, "Oh yeah." That's what I think. Oh, there's a super chat from Elvira. Pinball comic book kung fu at pincombo.com. I
walked into that one.
I walked, literally just gave him but he paid for it. So there. That's what I'm here for. To give in. But we're 2 minutes over, and something horrible will happen if we don't wrap things up. So Niels, thanks for calling.
Oh, I'm gonna wrap things up here. All right, gentlemen, have a great night, and thank you for letting me on. Jordan, I really look forward to checking out this stuff, man. It's awesome.
Thanks, dude. Yeah, thanks for your energy and your suggestions for voices to do. That was really cool.
That was a good, nice direction. Cool. Thank you, Niels. Thanks, everyone.
All right. See you, lads.
See you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye. Thank you for everyone. Thank you. Well, first to Jordan Morris. Everyone, go pre-order Bubble wherever you get books, and listen, of course, to the Bubble podcast and Jordan Jesse Go. And thank you, Boy Criminal Chris Gersbeck. Thank you, New Jersey Chicken Rancher Des.
Yo.
Jordan, is there anything else? Marching orders for the people aside from pre-ordering?
No, we've I think we've flogged them with it enough. I think they've hopefully got the message.
I feel like
thank you for letting me.
I put the link in the chat one more time if anyone.
Nice.
The link's in the chat. It's so easy. Could not be easier. Yeah, no, thank you so much. This was a total blast, and yeah, thanks for letting me.
Thank you for doing it, and thank you to everyone who joined us live, and thanks for everyone listening in the futuristic podcast format. If you like to support this show and the incredible Maximum Fun Network, go to maximumfun.org/join and get in on the hot times. We'll see you next week show. And oh yeah, okay. Are we out?